Today I'm going one-on-one with each of the most dangerous villains from the Uncharted games. I'll be going through their boss fights to give you some tips and some strategies so you can show them who's really boss. These individuals are Navarro, Draza, Lazarevic, and finally Talbot. Now I've done all these boss fights on brutal difficulty, but all the strategies that I talk about will work on lower difficulties too. So if you'd like to jump ahead to a certain pain in the arse, then check the description box below because I'll be leaving links, or the on-screen annotations if I've remembered to do it. Our first target on the list is Navarro. Now he isn't that tricky when you get to the end of the fight and it's just you and him, but it's when you have to fight his soldiers at the beginning that can be a little tough because you have to pay attention to both him and them. As soon as the fight begins, I like to run and stand behind this crate and take out each one of his soldiers one by one. It's a little difficult because you have the shotgun and there's not really much you can do about it, so by standing behind here you have a bit of an advantage and then Navarro can't get you. For this boss fight in particular, I'll be using the strategies that I talk about in my Brutal Survival Guide video, so check that out if you haven't seen it, because we're going to be standing behind cover rather than in cover so that we can easily pick off the soldiers one by one. And I also do the little ammo trick so that I have enough M4 ammo to go to the next bit. So just take your time taking out these guys, do little bursts so that you're not wasting all your ammo. Now if you do want to take cover behind the crate and do it the normal way, say on normal or hard difficulty, my suggestion is commit to one crate for a couple of shots, so when Navarro really tries to aim at you, he'll shoot the crate quite hard, but you can probably take 2 to 3 focus shots from him before moving on to the next one. That way when you go to the next crate you can feel safe behind it rather than being worried if it's going to break or not. So once you've finally made it past this goddamn falling crate, you'll understand if you've played on Brutal. Wait behind this crate here to get your health back, and then we're going to quickly just run and try and get behind here, so again we don't have to worry about whether Navarro's going to shoot us or not, and then we can take our time to take out all his little soldiers. So there's only 4 guys in this wave. One of them comes down the stairs on your right and will rush you, so be aware for him because he almost gets me. And there's also a guy at the top with rocket launch? No, it's a grenade launcher. I think the M7E9, something like that. I can't remember the exact name, but yeah. I'll just play this bit so you can just see. You just take your time, draft in and out of cover and take them down one by one. And be aware of your ammo because now it'll be hard to get more. So now it's time to go one-on-one with the man himself. Now he'll take 2 shots at the crate and then he will laugh, which is, typical boss 101 time to strike. When the boss laughs, that's when it's time to get going. So roll to the next crate. This time you'll only shoot 2 times and then the crate will break. No, just run and just start mashing square. Because as soon as you get to that zone, you just want this quick time event to begin. But then obviously be aware that you don't, press square when you need to press triangle. And then once again when you get up from this, mash square again, so that as soon as you get there you start this next quick time event, and then that's it, target down.
Oh, kitty don't like getting wet.
Moving on to Uncharted 2 now, and our first target is Lieutenant Draza. Now he was the hardest fight I had to do for this video on Brutal, however once you get the strategy down, he's also the quickest. So before you get to him, make sure you are prepared. I'd say at least 2 grenades and make sure you have a decent pistol. The default one is the best one because it does the most damage. So we're going to take cover on the outside of the train because this is where you'll be most protected from his shots and from his grenades. So we're using the pistol, as I said, to get good headshots on him because that's all that really counts, because we're just going to try and take his helmet off so that we can fight him in the next bit afterwards, where you do a bit of the old melee that you're used to, and then you go into the quick time event. So as you can see, it's quite difficult to shoot him because he's always very quick at shooting you back, so that's why I do the technique where I throw a grenade and then you have a nice opportunity to get a lot of shots in at him, and then you just rinse and repeat. That was a bit risky there, I shouldn't have done that, but I was just testing the waters. When he does throw a grenade, just take cover on the opposite side, and you seem to be pretty much protected from most grenade shots from this place. So after a while he will rush at you, and that's when you get your longer now, and then you need to just blind fire, but try and aim for the head, because obviously we're just looking to get that helmet off, and if you've got some good damage on him earlier, then it should come off very quickly like it did here, and then just mash that square button. Now this is like a normal soldier fight, so you have to do your little squares and then your triangles, so make sure you get this correct, because you really don't want to mess this up, because then you could be in trouble. Then just finish him off with the quick time events.
My train!
Our third target is Lazarevic, and most people would say that he is the hardest boss fight, but he's actually my favourite one, and I actually don't find that hard. Controversially, I actually do enjoy a bit of the Lazarevic, so these are my techniques to help you go through it. So we're going to run around the room in a clockwise path, and make sure you take the path that I'm going to take, because I think this is the best route. Now, we want to do this because we want to make sure that he follows us round, and then you kind of wait for him and then shoot the sap. Now the saps have quite a large range of impact, so if you're a little bit under pressure, you don't feel too safe and you want to move on, then just shoot the sap, because you never know, because there I've got him down quite quickly in that first round.
You think you can stop me?
Remember where you are in the room to keep going. Go over this bridge bit. Now, if you fall off the bridge, don't worry, because there is a little path underneath, and then you can go back the way you were, and there's also a sap down there as well that you can get him.
You will not stand in the way of destiny!
So this is where things ramp up a bit in difficulty, because he gets a bit faster, he throws grenades, but stick to the path. You may have to do a couple of more circuits around the room, because the fact that saps are now getting new, and he's also shooting them. Now the reason I say stick to the path is very important, is because you want him to follow you exactly as you've gone, otherwise he'll take shortcuts and then you won't be able to keep an eye on him, and you won't be able to anticipate which sap you want to shoot next, because you want to draw him to that sap. Now I might have died there actually with those grenades. I'm getting a little bit risky with my sap choice, but just keep going. If you feel like grenades are too close to you, then just keep going to the next sap, don't hang about. Also, sometimes I feel like when a grenade's really close to you, if you jump, it kind of helps you clear the blast area, so sometimes I do that just to get out the way. And that's all it is really. Just keep going round and round this bit, keeping an eye on him, get used to sort of running whilst looking backwards at your camera, and then slowly but surely you will take him down. That shotgun has a lot of range actually, so do watch out. It's about like timing, you know, getting the right balance between where you are, where you want him to be, and eventually you will take him down. Okay, so this is the grenade bit here where I got really lucky. Like, look how close I am. But I feel that the jumping helps. So just stick to this strategy really, and then you can make Lazarevic your bitch.
Karma's a bitch.
On to our final target now, and it's Uncharted 3's Talbot. And this is my least favourite boss fight, because I just seem to go round and round in circles with him, but then I found out what I was doing wrong. So I'll just talk you through it. It's basically just a melee fight, so you've got to know the difference between mashing circle to struggle reverse, and you're pressing triangle to do a normal reverse, and that is basically the key here. So for instance, that there was a mashing circle, and when I say mash circle, I mean you proper have to mash that button as fast as humanly possible. Like my finger, I actually thought I might have broken my finger, let alone my damn controller, because if you don't do it fast enough, on certain ones then he just sort of pushes you away and you're not getting the animation. Like there's one that comes up where Talbot kind of grabs your hand, and if you've got a mash circle fast enough to get Drake to bite him. So I'll just move this along a bit, because I do go around in circles with him for quite a while. So you need to pass this sort of animation a couple of times to get to the next one, which is coming up, which I mentioned is the bite one. So I kind of sometimes I sort of punch him, sometimes I let him get me so I can press triangle. But yeah, this is like I'd say the second animation that you need to pass. So then you bite him, and then you continue the fight for a little bit longer. There's a really tough one coming up, You see, yeah, you have to make sure you really know your circle. You got to be in the zone to know when it's time to circle, when it's time. Like, this is a tough one to get right because he drops, so you circle, 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 and then he drops the knife, and then you press in triangle. So now after beating him up a little bit more, we finally get to this animation, which is the second to final one, which is good. It means you're going to do the last struggle thing, so you mash circle, and then once this is over, Sully will come to your rescue. Now what's left for me to do is shoot that guy in the head and say goodbye. So those are my strategies for each of those Uncharted boss fights. I hope it helps some of you guys out. But always remember, you're not in a boss fight with them. They're in a boss fight with you.
That's funny.